Bob, this is a lot cozier than the last time I talked with you a couple of weeks ago down in Houston's Astrodome.
Yeah,
That was some fantastic show.
we were very lucky. Got a great show together there for a great cause, and it's the only way you can do that.
You know, I had the feeling, Bob, I stayed down in the dugout where all the stars were during the show, and I had the feeling you had so many. I thought, bound to be, 3 or 4 down there that didn't get out.
Yeah, well, we didn't introduce Jim Brown, by the way. That's one of my great memories of not introducing him. He was sitting in that dugout because he came out down with that group. He managed that group. And we forgot to introduce him. We introduced O.J. and we introduced Lance Rensel, but we forgot to introduce
But you
the
had
big Jim, and
How do
that's
you
about
get-
all we missed.
How do you get guys like Cary Grant to come down there on that Astrodome arena there and do the kind of thing he did?
Well, they'd never do it unless it was for that cause.
And unless Bob Hope asked him.
No, it's got to be the cause because they only go for certain things. I know that the last time I had worked with Cary Grant was 1942. I was a boy star, and we played this town. We played Houston and all the big cities, and the Victory Caravan, selling victory bonds. And I got him, and after the Academy Award, I said, come on down, and we'll have a lot of fun. And he's a great guy, and he said, yeah, I'll do it for that, as long as there's no television.
I don't know, Bob, you're used to big crowds, but when I walked in the Astrodome that night and I saw nothing but people from the ground level up to the top of that dome, it was the thrill of my life.
Yeah, well, Fred Nahas did a wonderful job on that show down there. He had a big group, and they did a wonderful, wonderful job of getting it all going, because no matter what a show you have, you still have to sell it, and you have to sell the tickets, and they made about $363,000 for that youth center. So it'll build it, and it'll be a great memorial to those, to Ed White and all his fellows that gave their lives.
Bob, we just completed a press conference here, and the thought struck me that most of the questions were really of a serious nature in asking your thoughts about Cambodia and so forth and so on. That wasn't always the case with you in press conferences, was it?
No, but that they know that I've been over there 6 times, and they know that I'm mixed up with a lot of people that are pretty close to the situation in the military, and a few people that I play golf with, and so they figure that I have ideas on it, and I do have ideas on it. And they made such a big thing about Cambodia, where actually it was just an annex of this conflict. It's just Eisenhower said about 4 years ago, he said, I'd chase them right across the border and wipe them out, because why should they be allowed to have a place to hide? We're fighting them, and they go over there and fire back at the towns and fire back at our installations over there, and it's part of this conflict. We had to wipe that out.
Bob, was there ever a time, though, in your career when you were reluctant to speak your mind on issues, even when you had ideas?
Well, they've never had much trouble making me talk. I've always had a runaway mouth, but when I get to this point, as I was saying to the mayor, I get a little serious about this, because I've been involved emotionally with a lot of kids, and I've seen a lot of kids that have paid the price and a lot of kids that have suffered in this, and it's a pretty important thing for our country that we get an honorable peace over there, because we're fighting a pretty well-known enemy. That people forget that. And, if you've been out of this country, you realize what a great Shangri-La we have here, and this freedom of speech and everything. And it's something that people forget every once in a while.
Bob, what about the economic situation of our country in the stock market? Are you upset about the way things are going?
No, I think I'll make it. Just about, Bobbie. I'll tell you one thing. I'm doing a whole thing about that. I want you to catch part of the show. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I'll tell you one of the lines. 3 of my stocks went off the financial page into the Help Wanted column the other day. And I'm doing a little routine about that, so I don't want to spoil it for some of these people.
Bob.
But my cab driver drove me to the airport. Used to be my stockbroker.
Bob, another thing, a group of press people I was with, we were talking about various stars, and naturally your name had to come up. And we all said that if Bob Hope has ever had any bad press, we've never read it, we've never heard about it.
You got to come and look at my scrapbooks, baby. You got to come in. I did a thing about, in Paleface, or one of the pictures, I said that all these other, I work with Dorothy Lamour and Paulette Goddard and Jane Russell all the night. I go home and dream about Indians. And I heard from the Indians, and they said, "What's wrong with dreaming about Indians, you draft dodger?" And I had it on my wall of my dressing room at Paramount, framed. And I used to use that as a reminder that you don't say everything right all the time, you know. But I licked most of the Indians in paleface anyway, so I got even.
Bob, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Okay, Bobbie, nice to see you again.